Step right up here for the greatest show on earth, the Washed Up Loser Olympics 2023. Just when you thought CrossFitters couldn't look any smaller, this is actually the first stream of the games. 7 hours later, some intern moved the camera to another terrible spot and almost left a fingerprint on the lens. All that means is that no matter how long you monitor people doing CrossFit, you'll never notice any improvement. Live from Ant Farmer's Field, I'm Asian reporter and returning champion Elgintensity, aka Trappenheimer, destroyer of CrossFit. And they're off. Games events are called tests now, which is on brand because each of CrossFit's other tests is also a joke that proves nothing when you pass it.
If there is a pack approaching the gate, they're not going to close it at 40. They're going to let those people through.
Hey, right,
they're not trying to cause any wrecks out there.
The games director should have called the gate a wall, but if you're doing CrossFit, then you already hit one ages ago. Speaking of letting too many people slip through, shoutouts to the new games sponsor, the US Border Patrol.
This is the run portion of the race course. So as you see on your screen, 2,400 meters on the actual bike, 200 meters on the run. This run's going to take somewhere between, I would say, 45 to 60 seconds. 45 may be a bit aggressive on that time check.
This is just how triathletes approach the bike racks when they switch from the ride to the run. A better test would be a course that isn't so flat. Instead, we have to watch these hormone-filled weirdos struggling through transitions. Where do they think they are, a gender clinic?
1 lap completed, and here's the replay of what happened.
If this event was supposed to make them look like beasts, then it succeeded, because they just grazed on the grass like free-range cows. I haven't seen someone go down so hard from a seat since the Montgomery Brawl.
Matilda Garnis, Sahir Kaya got mixed up in the turns. Oh, wow.
Then Emma off the side of the course.
After that crash, Carrie was dead meat on the field like carrion. Her only chance to come back was to go full throttle, and I don't mean speeding up.
And if you watch Tour de France or any type of road race when it comes to cycling, the hardest thing you can do is break away by yourself. And what you like to hope to have is maybe 2 or 3 riders with you that you can collectively work together to get away from the pack. And if you can do that, if Emily and Emma can somehow work together, they'll both benefit from that when it comes to drafting.
This is nothing like the Tour de France. This is the kiddie version of a real bike race, just like a carousel's the kiddie version of a real horse race, and you can find both at a circus. They're also moving way too slowly for drafting to come into play, but the game's commentators bring it up every time there's a bike race because of the drafts between their ears.
I said the challenging part of leading by yourself. The other is if the chase pack does not know how to work together, they're at the mercy of the speed whoever's leading that pack.
All this talk about drafting and snapping from the lead pack suggests that Ingram ate lead snacks. When CrossFitters are riding in a group, they aren't at the mercy of the rider in the front so much as the klutzes around them. Case in point.
Medeiros, he's looking a little gassed. If you just saw his body language gasping for air, we're just past the halfway point here.
That might be because he crashed twice. Sadly, there's no footage of this, not even from the NoBull nanny cam. Medeiros finished 29th, his lowest games finish ever, which means Sam Bankman-Fried and his long-lost brother both lost big due to bad exchanges.
We are underway. First sled push. Again, 544 pounds, 246 kilos that they are pushing right now.
What I like in this sled push right at the start, it's like you're in a boxing ring and they ring the bell and you get punched in the face in the first second. And then you see how people react to that.
If you develop brain damage from it, you're offered an announcer job at the games.
We've seen people push the sled, not move. Game plan needs to change immediately.
Try bringing cleats because you can safely assume that you'll work out on turf there. Ingram didn't propose this because he was probably too busy trying to articulate how to reduce wind resistance on the sled. Maybe the real draft was the rule book we got along the way.
Now, Pat Vellner, meanwhile, is just run into just all kinds of problems here on this rope climb. That's his 3rd attempt that he has failed.
Vellner kept reaching out with one hand and choking like he was using the force. He went to Madison just for his hands to burn like he went to Mustafar.
She just kept her feet moving. She stayed low to the ground. Gazan is slipping. She lost a shoe. The shoes matter. I mean, NoBull hooked them up with some cleats. I'm surprised to see them more of them out here.
She was so close to making it out of there, but the hot pursuit ran her out of her ugly footwear like croc bra.
Head judge comes over to Gazan's lane and says, "You've got to put your shoes back on, my dear." Holy smokes.
My dear, losing her shoe during an event doesn't make her Cinderella, but the fact that she was allowed to cross the finish line without both shoes on makes the rule book a fairy tale.
Fatigue had kicked in after doing the whole weekend, but the shoulders were on fire last year, and so in order to do these rope climbs, especially with the new standard, very impressive what they're doing.
Emma Carey just got hit with a no rep. She got to the top but did not control her descent. We will see how she handles this.
Watching Carey waste time due to a lack of energy after a long descent makes me want to rewatch Ace Ventura 2. Some of you might have been wondering why this event would be named after an animal that's not even good at moving heavy weights. After this, hopefully you've stopped wondering.
It's unbroken or bust, and it's coming down to the squat. So get your affairs in order with the big squat god man upstairs.
I'm shocked that they brought up Tin Cup because it's about a washed-up loser who returns to peak form in his sport. In other words, someone with no reason to do CrossFit. Competitors had to cross the dotted lines before performing each of the final sets of 5 sandbag squats. Let's see if these judges who paid $10 to be able to work for free had enough brain creases to remember the floor dashes.
Well, Velner and Hosta are tied. Hosta's at the bottom of your screen. Velner's in the white shorts. And Medeiros.
The games judge let the time cop Max Walker travel the minimum steps. It takes about 4 or 5 seconds to cross that dotted line while carrying the sandbag. Velner probably would have taken second place had someone noticed the shortcut. The key to success was to go unbroken instead of dotted, and because Medeiros didn't receive a penalty, the squat gods above didn't affect the outcome as much as the angels of mercy on the floor.
There's still so much work to be done. I mean, one of the things that everybody is concerned about that is running is the neurological damage from this event, knowing they have to go into an Olympic total tonight.
It's supposed to be a 5K, not K1. The only neurological damage anyone will sustain from this event will be from the games commentators.
Chris, when you look at a 5K, obviously everyone knows 400, they know how to pace an 800. What's the best way, in your experience, to attack this race?
They've got an opportunity for about the first 10, 12 seconds with that phosphagen energy system to really go out and get that open air. That's what you need to do, and then settle. The key in this event, you must be patient for that 60 to 90 seconds to allow the aerobic system to get warm.
That's not a pacing strategy. I don't want to hear drivel about energy systems unless it's from Chase Ingram, who was unable to commentate on day 3. He must have been very unwell, not because he had a sore throat, but because he didn't attribute soreness to lactic acid buildup for once.
I mean, look at Roman's posture. The head is dropping, the shoulders are rolling in. There's fatigue mounting. Same thing with Velner, right? They're starting to hinge at the waist. They're hinging at the waist because they're trying to change the muscle groups that are allowing them to run.
Incorrectly shifting the muscles you want to use, you mean doing CrossFit?
Roman Krennikov is only going to surrender 3 points to Jeff Adler as Krennikov found a second gear to get himself across the finish line. And now Lazar Jukic will be 4th.
It looks like the Red Cyclone found his second wind. The event winner finished in 16 minutes 39 seconds, which is a solid 5K time. Maybe CrossFitters are actually decent at something.
I did talk to J-Mac about the measurement of this course, and they wheeled it 3 separate times. So this course, it's spot on based upon their wheel.
And that something is, and always has been, excessive rounding. According to some of the competitors, they ran 2.8 miles, which is 4,500 meters. Their 5K was actually 5,000 yards. Some of you might try to cope and claim that the distance doesn't matter because they all ran the same course, but false displays of athletic superiority misrepresent how effective CrossFit is. Instead of selling programs by lifting fake weights, they're selling memberships by running fake distances. CrossFit captured the age and adaptive events with a security camera just to get caught in 4K for lying about a 5K.
What will you be watching for here in this test, Stacey?
More speed is more rest. However, you cannot redline on the way out.
You can't redline or edit in any way.
And you see none of these athletes are tightening that strap, Sean. They're scooting right in and getting right to work. The damper setting is set to a 5. And the foot pad is set to a 3. So if you're a shorter athlete, there's no time to mess with the pad. It is what it is. You're just going to be given what you've got. But a longer, stronger, taller athlete may want to quickly adjust the damper if they have the effort to do so.
Which they did before each heat. This is another attempt to make CrossFitters look more hardcore than they really are. even though this event isn't too crazy. If I wanted to see a bananas box performance involving women trying not to get cut, I'd hang out with Lizzo in Amsterdam.
6 minutes is the time cap here.
We just saw a bit of confusion there on Roman's behalf. It looked like he miscounted, started to go to his rower, had to go back to the box and do one more jump.
He didn't miscount. You can see for yourself that he did 21 jump overs. If he only did 20, then he would have landed on the same side as he started. The judge also didn't no-rep him until the end, even though she closed her hand to signal that he did all the reps. That kneeling woman screwed up a penalty by going over the goal. Who does she think she is, Megan Rapinoe?
One hole in Krenikov's game over the last couple of years, it has been events that have high volume muscle-ups. If you look back at the Rogue Invitational last year, very similar format. It had 7 rounds of 7 muscle-ups and then goblet squats with some running in between. He finished 17th out of a field of 20. Guess who got 3rd? Mr. Jeffrey Adler.
He was worried about muscle-ups, but everybody knows that sandbags are more effective at stopping wash-ups.
But check on the right side of your screen, Sean. Roman Krenikov actually should be getting a top 5 finish here, so that is a great finish for what would have been a bad test for Roman.
Krenikov ended up breaking his left foot after landing on a sandbag. The recipe for success mentioned this classic scene, which, like this event, showed a king who couldn't keep up on foot after going through a wooden obstacle. In CrossFit, dirt leaves an impact on your foot. He could have avoided this by watching where he landed, which means that the lack of control over turf partially caused another Roman downfall. Krenikov didn't wear a watch, not even during the Fugazi 5K. Casio really dodged the sandbag because Krenikov is the last CrossFitter whom it would want to represent a brand of timepieces that are known not to crack when they fall. 1 foot down left his chances of winning the games 6 feet deep. When they say that sandbagging is supposed to lower others' expectations of you, this is not what they mean. To his credit, Krenikov continued to compete after his injury when he could have easily withdrawn. He came to play the games, so he saw it through to the end with 1 foot like Dr. Gordon. The US Army is also a games sponsor this year. Given the outcome of this event, I have a feeling that we're going to include some sandbags in our next aid package to Ukraine. CrossFit partnered with ESPN again this year, a move that closed the door on properly covering the age and adaptive events, hence the ring cam. Instead, ESPN had the exclusive right to stream the last event of each day. Anyone in the US who wanted to watch it live had to pay for ESPN Plus or use a VPN to watch it with international viewers. It was harder to watch the games live this year, from the platform switching to the buggy app, yet the coverage was just as bad if not worse than last year's. This partnership with ESPN makes sense though, because overpaying for a service and getting subpar results is what doing CrossFit is all about.
0! Like the video and subscribe to the channel, now.